to today's edition of the Real Agents of Change. I just love honoring and celebrating and acknowledging the people who are truly taking a stand and serving those that they say they're here to serve. And Cynthia is definitely a shining example of that as an attorney and now a real estate agent and as a real agent of change. Cynthia, I want to welcome you to the show and just ask you the first question, which is, what makes you a real agent of change and why are you part of our group?
Well, thank you, Cammie, so much for having me on the show today. One of the big reasons why I am a real agent of change is actually my sister, Anita. Now, I grew up in a family of 8 kids, and I grew up in northwestern Minnesota. And a few years ago, I got a call out of the blue from my sister, Anita, and she told me that she was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And at that point, I knew, because over the years, I've been a triathlete, a road biker. I like to do long distance races of running, biking, just depends. I knew that some of the races were charity races. And one that I had done before she was even diagnosed with Parkinson's was the Copper Triangle for the Davis Finney Foundation, which does for Parkinson's disease. They raise funding and provide information. I knew that I needed to research what organizations were out there, and another organization was the Michael J. Fox Foundation. So this led me to start doing research on what races were out there that I wanted to do to help raise money for Parkinson's for my sister. I found that the Escape from Alcatraz, which has always been on my bucket list for triathlons, had a team spot for the Michael J. Fox Foundation. Sorry about that. Do you want me to cut?
Go ahead and turn it off, and I'll have my assistant cut this part out. Start over talking about that race.
I'm never home, so I never hear the phone ring. And it's probably about my car warranty.
So Michael J. Fox. Yeah. Those are the Alcatraz.
Okay. So I discovered that the Escape from Alcatraz Triathlon had a charity race component to it. And one of them was the Michael J. Fox Foundation, which also does research and contributes, is a nonprofit for education about Parkinson's disease. So I signed up, and I also every year was always in the lottery for it. That year I got in through the lottery, and I got in through the Michael J. Fox Foundation. So I was able to do that race and got my medal.
I love it. What a cool medal that is. I'm glad to hear that Parkinson's is one that you love to help, because we've just made big strides in getting in front of Parkinson's Association. Michael Jones, one of our other real agents of change, has a fabulous contact there that I'm going to introduce you to right in Florida.
Oh, awesome. I would love that. And so she has become my big why. And then my second why is to help the Freedom Service Dogs. Now, the Freedom Service Dogs, they always have a huge fundraiser that I was introduced to, and it's called Diamonds in the Rough. And this past year, they couldn't do it because of COVID. But Freedom Service Dogs train service dogs for veterans. And my fiance is a veteran, and his dad was actually a prisoner of war in the Vietnam War. So for me, helping out veterans and giving back to them and giving them the resources to continue to contribute to our society, because they all are such heroes. Those are some of the 2 biggest areas that I really want to give back to. And those are my hugest and biggest whys in all of this.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. You know, it's so interesting, all the different nonprofits that I hear of. I mean, Parkinson's, we all know, but a specific dog/veteran, Pets for Vets is one we've worked with. There's one in New Hampshire called Hero Pups. It's just a beautiful way to give back and to partner those souls, whether they're four-legged or two-legged, to come together. It's just a lovely thing. So you've talked about some of the nonprofits that you like to support. Tell me how you've normally supported them over the years. Meaning, are you more of a volunteer? Are you more of a cash donation? Sounds like you do the races and things. So
Pretty much in the past, I've always done the races. And so I would be a participant and raise cash through that. Another race that I would do was the MS 150, which you also need to raise funds for. Diamonds in the Rough was always a big gala event. That was always very fun because you paid to get into the gala, and they had silent auctions. And there was always the huge giveaway, which was a diamond, which was in a champagne glass. And that's why they call it the Diamonds in the Rough. So those were usually the biggest ways that I gave back. But discovering the real agents of change and knowing that.
hold on, you're muted. You're muted. Cynthia. Hold on.
To leave their home.
Hold on.
You can't do traditional galas.
Hold on.
All those things.
There's a whole section there. As soon as you talked about the Diamonds in the Rough, you completely muted out, and you couldn't see me because I was like trying to get you to stop.
You know, I got calls coming in. You know what I'm going to do? Sorry, Cammie.
You're just talking away, and I'm like, no, wait. Okay. Let's pick up from that, though. All good stuff. So we'll just get back into they have diamonds, they give a diamond away in this champagne glass. Kind of take it from there, what you were just saying. So they put diamonds in the champagne glasses?
Well, it's a faux diamond. And the thing is, you get a champagne glass, they fill it full of champagne, and it's kind of faux. And it's at the end of the night, there's a huge giveaway from a jewelry store here in the Denver area that will provide that giveaway for the Diamonds in the Rough. And it's a very interesting and cool concept that when you went to this gala, there was a red carpet that was rolled out. Everyone was dressed up in their fancy cocktail dresses. And, you know, I really miss being able to throw on a good cocktail dressing now and again.
Well, I do too. And at the same time, you know, now that we can't, what a blessing to learn how to be able to fund them now that the fundraisers are canceled or postponed or not as well attended. What do you think your MS Society and the animal group, what do you think they would do with the average amount, which is $550,000? That's the average amount from a real estate donation. What could they do with that?
Well, the first thing that I would see that Freedom Service Dogs would be able to do is actually expand their breeding program. When I was speaking to a volunteer there this week, she indicated that typically they've been able to get their dogs for the veterans and for their program from the rescues, but they were having a difficult time doing that. So this year they expanded their breeding program so they could do an in-house. So with that, I can just see an increase in being able to provide those service dogs to our vets and people in need. And with the Davis Finney Foundation, one of the things that my sister has found so incredibly helpful that she has passed out to her network and her group of friends that have Parkinson's is a book, and it's a huge resource that talks about Parkinson's and different treatments, how to work with your family, how to adjust, and just get those additional resources out there for Parkinson's patients and their families. Being able to just expand those programs would be huge for both Freedom Service Dogs and the Davis Finney Foundation.
I just had a download. What if you did a 30 interviews in 30 days, and everyone that you interviewed about Parkinson's, from the volunteers to the folks who have it, to the businesses that want to support. And every day for 30 days, you give one of those books to the people that you interview.
I would love to do that because my sister has raved about the book. And it's funny, she has her kickboxing group that she's joined because, interestingly enough, they have found that kickboxing is one of the things that helps Parkinson's patients. And she spread the word to her kickboxing group, and they have found that book so incredibly helpful. If I could just give a little bit back, I would be so blessed because I know how much it would mean to my sister.
Well, we're going to talk about that because we can get the author of that book to sponsor and give them and the whole thing. Let's talk about that later on. So
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, so many wonderful ways for us to spread the word about charitable gifting of real estate, and how, in 2019, there was $8 billion given to nonprofit from generous property donors, yet none of us have really heard of it. When you sat in on our class, the certification class, what are a couple of the things that you were like, had an aha about, especially as an attorney?
Well, two things. One was the tax benefits that people might want to start thinking about, because in light of how the economy is going to be going, people need to start doing some tax planning. And so I thought, how could I help people with some of their tax planning where they're looking for increasing their charitable donations? Or the other thing, keep in mind, we also have an aging population, and maybe they're trying to figure out, they're staring in the face in the mirror and figuring out, what is my legacy? What do I leave? Yes, I've had a wonderful family. I've had wonderful friends, but what can I give back that will carry on beyond when I'm no longer on this earth? And so I think being able to help people make that impact, I am just so excited about being able to do that.
I love that you say that, because we can help the realtor leave more legacy, the property donor, and frankly, the nonprofits, because when your fundraisers are canceled and the average amount of a donation is $550,000, wow, 10 donations, they got $5 million of legacy that they can spread around the world. So share with us a little bit about the marketplace you're in, and the fact that when people hire you, they don't just get an attorney or just get a realtor, they get both.
Well, I am the attorney broker where you get double the benefits with no extra cost. I have done real estate for many, many years out here in Colorado. And one of the things I discovered, I worked in the Metro District's arena with the developer, or also on the other end as a district manager, and then also in homeowners associations. And so many times I came across people that were in a unique situation where they were in a metro district, they were in a special district or an HOA, and they didn't quite know what that meant. And I thought, well, if only they had had an attorney as they were looking at homes to tell them, okay, here's where you're in the city, here are the different services that are provided, here's what it means when you have these exceptions in your title work, here's what it means when you're in a metro district, and taking a look at, is that a sound metro district? So I specialize here in the Denver metro area, but I also have connections up in the mountains. So if someone has a mountain property that the family just is not using anymore, everybody's moved out of state, I have connections up in the Vail community, up in the Steamboat community, Keystone Copper, that we can partner with to help them get that tax benefit. And also, it's probably weighing on their minds, what are they going to do with this property? The kids are out of state. They don't know, if the kids will ever come back, or if they'll ever come back to use it. And how do they dispose of the property? So I'm here to help them.
Well, we are just so honored to have you as part of our ROC, as we call it, the ROC, the Real Agents of Change. And as we bring our interview to a close, here's the question that helps us all get to know you a little bit better. Tell us something about you that has nothing to do with your work or where you're from.
Well, I'm going to tell you where I'm from. I grew up in the Red River Valley, which is as flat as the table that you sit at your dining room. I am probably one of the few people that that has climbed North America's highest peak, which is Mount McKinley. So It is a 20,000 foot peak. I am only a short little thing. I'm only 5'5", but I got to the very tippy top of that mountain all by myself.
All by yourself. Awesome. Well, you know, I'm out traveling in my RV, hula hooping on the top of it and visiting all of our agents of change all over the country. So I don't know if I want to climb the highest peak mountain, but we definitely want to get out and play together.
Definitely. Yes. You could climb each of the 50 highest peaks in each of the continental United States. Those aren't too bad.
Well, that's true. And actually, I got the vision to do the RV travel when I was on Mount Monadnock in New Hampshire, which is the second most climbed mountain in the world.
Wow. I've never heard of that one. I've got to put that on my bucket list.
A little trivia for you there. Well, Cynthia, thank you so much for being a real agent of change, for taking a stand. You know, so many people say they want to do this and they say they want to serve certain communities, but there's a handful of us who actually take the stand and actually do that serving. And if you're watching this show and you think that you're a real agent of change, whether you're a real estate agent, an attorney, a nonprofit, a business owner, a generous property donor, or just someone who wants to be a part of this awakening, this is what Dr. Russell James would call an awakening in the nonprofit world. Being able to accept non-cash assets will grow your nonprofit by 6 times the rate that it would have without. And we are just honored to be a small part of that with specifically the real estate. So thank you for being a part of the Real Agents of Change. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Cami.